this is the university engaging its own citizens, as in the people in the university, and there's millions, there's thousands, not millions, thousands of people in the university in terms of students and staff.
And it's often not how a university works, right?
No,
That's not been the shift of universities.
It's quite interesting. It's really, really interesting. But it's also a shift in where quite a lot of universities were going. So a lot of universities in the UK and actually in the world have been moving towards a kind of more commercialised and more individualised and more competitive. And and actually Newcastle University has moved away from that, more back towards the civic university of the past, because that's actually where universities came as a need in society. And a lot of universities aren't engaging with their place, and that's again what we are doing. We've been doing this over the last decade, re-engaging with our place and wanting to be responsive to where we are.
Absolutely, and what I really value is that the university is an equal partner in that alliance.
Yes.
So some of our other member institutions are schools or unions or churches or the mosque.
Yeah, different sizes out there, some really small organisations.
Exactly, some tiny little organisations, and then the university is huge, but it's an equal player. When we have our formal meetings, everyone gets one vote.
Exactly, that's what I find fascinating. We're here with thousands of people, but we get the one vote, and that's. But we do also have to make sure that a certain number of people turn up, and it's really good.
Yeah, and people are able to sit back and allow people with lived experience to lead the issues, but are able to know and understand where the research can contribute and help campaigns that we've led. All of the campaigns that we've led have had academic input. So when we first launched, we had 3 campaign areas. One of them was Islamophobia and hate crime. And what we had was Muslim women describing their experience and saying that there'd been a massive rise in racism and hostility since the Brexit vote. But because people tend not to report hate crime, it didn't show up in the figures. So there was a lot of disbelief around that of, really, is that really rising? And people just not believing what they were saying. But we had an academic at the university, Peter Hopkins, whose own research backed that up.
Right.
And he was able to bring that to the table, not take over from the women that were leading the campaign, but say, actually, I've got evidence that supports what they're saying. We had a mental health commission to look at the increase in mental ill health across the region. And that was led again by people with lived experience. We had public hearings, we had hundreds of people give testimony. But the university worked with us to produce a final report on the whole thing. We also had a lot of work in and around poverty. So Just Change, which was a campaign led by young people around free school meals, which you worked with us on and your research supported.
Yeah, absolutely.
And living wage and poverty and inequality, and obviously the university hosts the North East Child Poverty Commission, and we work really closely. So it was, where does working together give us more power and more clout to bring about transformative change, rather than the university knows more than everyone else because we're this is our job and our profession. It was bringing together people's lived experience and supporting that with academic rigorous research, which meant that we had quite a powerful campaign to push forward for change. It's about the solution, because the thing about community organising is we don't just describe the problem or talk about it, we always bring to power the solution and a very direct ask: will you or will you not have a hate crime charter on public transport?
This is the methodology.
Will you or will you not pay the real living wage? And that, we find that leads to more transformative change than a stick and plaster, because you're asking very specific things. But those solutions have to come from the people with lived experience, because if it doesn't affect their lives, it's not worth campaigning on.
Yes. I mean, and all of these things were really demonstrated in our Real Living Wage Listening campaign, weren't they?